And welcome back to the Hot Lap and all your news for the 15th of September 2024. Yes, we have had qualifying for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, Baku in the history books, and the Alpine of a certain Pierre Gasly. Yeah, something to do with too much fuel going through the flow back to the grid. Back of the grid. So at least if you're Lando Norris, you are now 16th and not 17th. But let's move on from there. So Toto Wolff, though, and speaking of blame, he's blamed Alex Albon for what was their Azerbaijan Grand Prix qualifying struggle. He said this is a Charles Leclerc circuit, but I think we could have been second or third, probably. It was so close, and the way Alex Albon came to a halt at the exit of the pits, our tyre temperature went down, and that's why the first sector was so bad. A podium is still possible, but everything has to come together. So, yeah, if you don't know, Alex Albon, the Williams F1 team left the airbox cooler in his car, and then he had to stop and pretty much blocked quite a few people initially until he ended up getting it out. So, Lando Norris, then, we mentioned him. He said he's still hopeful of a good result. He said we have got some good tyres in the bank, so yeah, try and be hopeful and see what we can do. The car is quick, and we hope that will come into our hands at some point if I can get clean air. He said, but on a street circuit, everything gets backed up and you kind of get forced into a position and you can't do a lot at times. We will hope for the best, but I don't expect anything much at all unless strategy comes into play. Classic Lando beating himself up a bit, yeah. But Leclerc, will he be beating himself up come the end of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix because he's finally going to conquer Baku? Or will he? Well, he said the pole position was quite unexpected in both 21 and 23. He said, so he didn't have the pace with the car to win. In 22, we had a good car and the engine, well, went kapow, didn't it? Hopefully tomorrow, the pace is there and we don't have anything that stops us winning it. He said, I'll have to do a bit of homework tonight in order to get ready for tomorrow, but I'm not too worried that we'll do the best job with our package. The car felt really good since FP1, honestly. We barely changed the car from FP1 to now. Straight away, I felt happy and the balance remained really good. So, fingers crossed for Charles Leclerc fans that he can do it. And Alonso's come out and said the low downforce choice will boost Aston in the Baku race. He said, definitely, we have less downforce than the others. And he went on to saying, it is a strategy that we think will help us in the race. We followed that direction also last year to be fast in that last sector. And as you know, Baku, that last sector, you don't really touch the brakes at all. He said it helped you to defend and it helped you to attack. If there are any restarts, you also have that extra bit of speed when you go on the power. So yeah, let's see. Obviously, he said, you have a penalty on the tyre deg. We will struggle more with tyre deg, but that's the way we think it's the best thing for tomorrow. Sainz has come out and he explains a major gulf to master of Baku, Leclerc. Yeah, he said, I never tend to aim too high in Baku. He went on saying, because I know it's a track where I normally have struggled in the past. I don't know if it's the tarmac, it's very peaky, very slippery tarmac, and the rear's moving around a bit. Maybe that makes Charles a bit more comfortable. I think it's a combination of me never being quick here, and him being the master of Baku. And the gap, it gets a bit too big around here for my liking. So we kind of like to concede that, yeah, it's not really happening, isn't it? And so Sergio Perez, the resurgent Sergio Perez, he is still disappointed with qualifying. Yes, he qualified fourth, but he said, first of all, I'm a bit disappointed because I felt like P2 on a perfect lap should have been possible. I'd been a bit scrappy in Sector 2 where I'd probably missed a tenth and a half. It's probably the same for everyone though. Ferrari were in another league, but I think further up would have been good. And it's really good to see Sergio Perez actually being positive. George Russell, he's been handed a reprimand for failing to slow under the yellow flags. And when was that? Well, that was during qualifying at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. The stewards reviewed telemetry and video evidence, and they concluded that Russell could not reasonably see the yellow flags in time to react due to its position on the far right runoff area and his committed braking point. Now, while Russell accelerated normally after the incident, these mitigating circumstances led simply to a reprimand rather than a harsher penalty. At the minute I saw that, and I think a lot of other people saw George Russell, yellow flag, qualifying, thought, oh dear, Oh dear. But so, I guess if you're a George Russell fan, a tiny bit of good news there. If you want to see more, give us a subscribe, hit that notification button as well. We'll speak to you soon, stay safe, and the next time we talk to you about Formula 1, it's going to be, well, the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Baku will be in the history books. Can Charles Leclerc do it? What's going to happen to Lando Norris? Will Hamilton come good with his race pace? What is Verstappen going to do? Could Perez win it? All these questions. Let's see.